Okay, my name is Yishai. I'm the CTO at LinterB, and I'm going to talk about AI code reviews, why some of them at least are missing the point, and how to fix it. Let me start by asking who has some kind of AI code reviews happening for them today, where they work. Some show of hands. Nice. Okay, so I'll start with a short intro about what are those AI code reviews and why we're seeing more and more of these happening, why they make sense. I'll talk about some anti-patterns, some wrong ways to think about them that we see, wrong or naive or partial ways, and then I will focus on what really matters, how to make the AI code review shine for actually helping you. I'll show some, present a ladder of capabilities and how to evaluate your AI code reviews and your solutions so that you can go up the ladder, get more value, and really maximize what you're getting from this novel technique. So AI code reviews, if you think about this is pretty much the first step that AI takes into the actual process. I mean, we all use AI in the IDE or as a way to help me create my code. But code reviews is probably the first, and definitely at scale, the first time that AI actually begins to be part of the interaction between team members, or the process of getting things done. And it's not by chance. Just showing you like a screenshot of what an AI code review looks like. You create a pull request or a merge request, and you get some review pretty similar to how a human would provide that, with comments, with suggestions to change the code, and so on. Now, the motivations are very clear. I can get a quick feedback loop. If I, as a developer, I'm creating some code, I don't have to wait days or hours to get initial feedback on my work. I can get very quick results telling me what's wrong, what's missing, and so on. When this actually reaches the human reviewer, maybe at a later stage, they get a much better PR to work on. They don't have to look for the basic stuff. And it gives us an opportunity to further automate. I'll talk about this a bit later. I'm showing you some results from a research that we published a while back, just to put this in perspective. So all of these bars, we basically asked people, where is AI getting used? Are things done by AI, done like with humans with some AI assistance, or just humans? So you see the red bars are AI, the light blue bars were mixed, and then the human only is the dark blue. And I've marked the 2 questions, let me zoom in, about the review and release. So who is reviewing the code, and then who is merging the code? Look at the contrast. It's not by chance. People are already getting a lot of help in reviewing code by AI. So they're maybe half human, 34% mixed. Who is actually merging the code? This is still very much human with much less assistance. This is because we can get help from AI, but we are still, or at least in many cases, we want to preserve control, have someone to blame if things go wrong, and so on. So that's what's happening today. And why does AI code review make so much sense? And why is it can be a really successful AI use case? First of all, there's an existing human process with a lot of friction. Code review is a very expensive context switch for the reviewer. It's a context switch for the person waiting to get the review, because I've finished my work, my coding, I fixed that bug, and I have to wait and maybe get feedback 2 days later on my code. That's a very expensive context switch for both sides. And when you find existing human processes with friction that you can assist with AI, that is a typical shape of a problem for AI to shine in. Code reviews is a well-defined task. The inputs and outputs are pretty solidly defined. It's not like go do something creative. It's here's the change I made in the code base. Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's missing. Apply some logic, and so the input is well defined, the output is well defined. This helps AI, not go on a tangent, and really, it's easier to get good results when that is, again, the shape of the problem. The context is pretty limited, right? I'm not asking you to look at all my code base and tell me what's wrong, find all the problems. It's about, this is the change. Now, is this change okay, or is it a good one? What is missing? Again, these are all characteristics which help us get more consistent and good results from AI. And finally, AI has been very successful with dealing with code. It's not by chance that a lot of the early AI use cases in the world are about writing code and reading code and reviewing code. There is something in that problem space that AI was like pretty much early to solve or to make headway into compared to other use cases. And this is another, like AI code reviews are another way for this to appear. But when I'm looking at a lot of AI code review implementations, a lot of ways how this is getting used in companies, in dev teams, and so on, there are a lot of places where we are missing the point and we are not getting the maximum value, sometimes even creating noise or negative value. And I'm going to show some anti-patterns and then go to talk about how to make it actually work for me. So the number one anti-pattern is to just like, okay, ad hoc adoption. We have to get AI, we have to start using AI. I've heard about AI code reviews, they're good. Take the $20 a month and just start using it. Or maybe there's like a bottoms up approach. Someone finds a new tool, wants to use it. We have some tools around. Basically, this is the most naive way to adopt some technology. It's happening a lot with AI, right? Let's try Cursor, let's try Claude. They are all great, but as an organization, if I run a dev team, I have 30, 50, 100, maybe 2,000 developers. This approach is very limited. And it means I have random pockets of use, not an organized way to understand how to best use this. The organization is blind to like, is this really helping us? Where is it working well? Is it maybe missing the mark on some programming languages where, it could be good, giving me good signal with Python and bad signal with C++ or C#. And if there's any learning, like if the code reviews are improving, or as an organization, am I learning from this anything? Like, it's just by luck, right? So there's always room for grassroots, but it's very limited. The next anti-pattern is to overly rely on this, right? Okay, AI is reviewing the code. Maybe now I don't have to, or I can just glimpse over it because there's a net that catches the bugs. I can be a little less diligent. I can write crappy code. Someone will catch it, right? What I'm maybe not willing to show another human, I'm fine with AI, and using that as a almost like a syntax checker. Or I'm just going to write the code. If there's any problems, AI will catch it. That's again a naive approach, but we've seen this happen, and we've seen this behavior with developers. So you have to be aware of that. And also, obviously, we're using AI to write the code. Let's use the same agent, the same AI, the same models to write it and then review it. Maybe that's going to work, but I have a hunch that's not optimal, right? Maybe there is value in trying to use something different between the piece that creates the code and then the piece that has to review it. Obviously, the code that the AI wrote did maximize some function, and if we're maximizing the same function, we may not find all the problems in the code review. And maybe the deepest anti-pattern to using AI code reviews, I mean, you can put this, you can manage this, you can get some value. But if all you're doing is automating or helping to augment a human step in just like a single point in the process, and you're not using that as an opportunity to change the process, to do something fundamentally different about how you deploy code, then you're missing a lot of opportunity, right? You may have shortened some cycle time for people. You may have reduced some context switch, but you're doing the same thing, right? Create code, put a pull request, wait for someone to approve it. Maybe there's a cycle like a linter, which is AI code review. There's benefits, but it's far from enough. Imagine if you could automate things like, when do I apply AI code review? When do I skip it? When can AI code review remove the human? For example, maybe there's a path where I'm saying, if a human wrote the code, let's have AI review it. If AI wrote the code, I have to get a human. So at least once the code should meet a human. These kinds of approaches are really novel, and they can really take the productivity to 2-3 steps further than just having AI as just do the code review for me or before me as a more mechanical step. So let's focus on what really matters and how to get the AI code reviews that I'm going to use in my organization, how to make that from a very like a point solution or a point tool to something more fundamental that can really move the needle for me, and really make an impact on my process, on my SDLC. I'm going to propose like an evaluation ladder for what an AI code review system can do for me. And it's, as you'll see, I'm not just evaluating the system or the piece of code or technology that spits out some AI review. It's also an evaluation of how am I running this? Do I get management capabilities? Am I actually managing this as a real project and not just a point solution? So the first step is it has to be not noisy, right? If the AI code review puts a lot of comments that do not make sense, that are wrong, that are nitpicks, people are not gonna skip it, they're gonna ignore it. If I create noise, I have negative value. So the first thing is for the code review has to be solid, right? Don't give me stuff that I don't care about, that is wrong, that it may, like, you're wasting my time. Then the second requirement, it has to be complete or get close to complete. It has to not miss the stuff that I needed to find. If there's an obvious bug or maybe a not so obvious bug, I needed to catch it. If I'm doing something that is, a code smell, bad practices and so on, I needed to tell me what I expect from a human reviewer and hopefully from even a senior reviewer with a lot of time on their hands. That is why I should get from the code review. That makes it better. Going further up the ladder, I'm looking at variance. Don't only look at bugs. What about performance? What about security? What about the way we work? There's multiple facets to a code review. Sometimes even humans focus on just one thing. Oh, you got this wrong, or I can't read this, it's not readable. But really, if you want to round it, if you're looking at like who are the best people that do really good code reviews in my company, they're multifaceted, they're varied. They can think and give me feedback on a variety of types of problems or gaps, or even, oh, you could have maybe done this better by applying this pattern. So multi-track, give me a round review. The next one is special. It's about knowing why and what we are building. I could have a piece of perfect code in a pull request that does exactly, the code is nice, there's no bugs, easy to read, it's secure, but it's not what the product asked for, right? The button should be green and you made it red. If I'm only looking at the code, I'm gonna miss that part. So if the code review is aware, like humans should be aware of what am I trying to achieve here, why are we even building this, then I can give comments and I can give feedback about scope, about you've actually not solved the problem that you're going for, even though the code is great for another problem. So that's another step forward in AI that can be aware of how and why, what we are building and why. Let's continue to move up. Personalization. It's, if I'm working on a team, there is some way in which the team works. The team, the group, the organization, there's best practices, there's a culture, there's a way, this is how we do things. There's like architectural choices that sometimes we want to, like enforce is a big word, but we want to continue within that line. And a lot of the feedback that we get with code reviews is about, why didn't you use this? Or we have a library for this, we have a pattern for this. This is how we prefer to do things. This is the kind of level of documentation we need. Or this is too much, we don't want this complexity. All of these things are about being personalized, so I'm not just taking something off the shelf. I can have the AI code review conform to my best practices, read guideline files like I expect AI agents to do, and be aware of the team, the organization, and so on. Get that context and use that to be a team player. Next phase, it's learning, it's improving. When I started using that system or that tool, I had some value. Over time, it grows. Why is that? Because I have a feedback loop. I need an AI code review system that listens to the feedback people are giving it. If they're giving it a thumbs down on some reviews, it can use that to improve, to learn. It can maybe capture that feedback back into guidelines. So like save the good and the bad feedback that it gets in a way that it can then use it tomorrow on the next review. And really, in our world, there's no place for something that stays the same. There's no place for a developer that doesn't learn. There's no place for AI code review that doesn't improve and doesn't allow me to give it feedback that it will improve it, not just for this review, but for tomorrow. Finally, the next two steps on the ladder are really important. And this makes the jump between, oh, nice technology, maybe helping us here and there, to something that really drives a fundamental impact. So it has to help me be productive, right? If all it does is great code reviews, but I can't prove and can't show it's actually driving downstream impact, it's improving the way we work, improving our productivity, our developer experience, then it's just a toy, right? So I have to be able to show, to prove, to get some measurements that tell me we are actually delivering more. Our quality has gone up, right? We're all in this game to eventually deliver working software, hopefully faster, have a better day, while doing so, not get up at 3 a.m. to fix it. So these fundamentals do not change. If I'm not helping us do that more, then I don't care. So being able to show that productivity gains is a really key piece. And then at the end of the ladder is, can it help me transform? So I can maybe a great AI code review system makes my team or my organization 10% more productive. That's great. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of value. If it can help us transform the way we work, begin changing the process and doing, if I can skip a human in 10% of the times, that's way more than 10% productivity. So at the very best, those systems are transforming how we work and allowing us to invent new ways for the actual SDLC. That is not just the same rigid process that we had before. Those are the places where the benefits really begin to shine. So I need to look for the opportunities to use something like AI code reviews to really change how we work and not just augment it. I want to show you some examples of what this all looks like, and like when I talk about being able to prove all these things. I showed you a ladder of evaluation, and the one question you have to ask yourself when applying AI code reviews, looking at solutions, basically running that program, can you prove the value you're getting? Can I show if it's noisy or not, or do I just have to ask some developers and see what they're saying, or maybe get a hunch on noise, on completeness, on does it provide me with value across multiple facets? All of these evaluation points, I need to be able to show them, to actually measure them. For me, is it not what is the vendor saying? What is it doing for me and my team? Is it actually learning? Can I show the curve? Can I see that why it's learning? All of these things have to be visible. And maybe that's like an overarching requirement across the ladder. Don't just say it, show me. What does it look like? So I'm going to show you some examples of how we do this in LinterB, but obviously these apply in a general way. First step of visibility is you can see some ticker. There's a way to see the code review in action. What is it doing for me? You can see these are recent PRs with what was found. So if I can, like, this is a machine. We have developers writing code. This is code review is happening. This will spit out the activity, and I can see there's bugs, there's performance, maintainability. This is very visceral way to see, okay, I'm starting to understand some value, the multifaceted approach, and so on. If I go deeper, there's full visibility and observability on what am I getting and what is happening. And this is, again, think about those evaluation steps. So I can see the coverage. How much of my code and how much of my pull requests are getting AI code review, right? 50% in this case, slowly growing. Maybe I need to deploy it in more places, more teams, more repos. But it's the beginning of, and I understand where it's working for me and where it's not. Potential issues identified, so I can see some sort of count or like tally of what is it doing for me, what is it finding, what kind of problems is it blocking for me, how much of these issues are getting resolved. So when the developer either accepts the suggestion in the code review or actually fixes that in the IDE and pushes a new commit, and the AI system is smart enough to identify this issue was resolved, so the feedback was actually useful. So now you can see, yeah, we're accepting about a half of the suggestions, which is not bad, by the way, when we benchmark that. So half of the suggestions are actually fixed in the code. That means there's actual value happening here. So this is the kind of visibility that lets you understand and improve the value you're getting across the evaluation ladder. I'm going to double click into another example. This is a scope issue. Remember, scope is about knowing why. You created something that maybe looks great in the code, but it's not what you asked for. So I can inspect, I can drill down to see specific pull requests that had, this is the list. You can see how many scope issues are we finding every day. So yeah, we found about 10 on September 9th and a few more on the 11th. So the quantity of issues, and then I can click into the PR and see the actual review. See this marked in the blue box. This is about the implementation is not aligned with a ticket. So the code review looked at a Jira ticket, understood what was required, and made that comparison. So being able to drill down into this, not just, the developer got the value directly, but if I'm looking at it as a manager level or the team lead or group lead, I can prove that the code review system is actually helping the code align with what the requirements were. And this goes further out into like more observability on SDLC. So this is like code review is just part of that. But you can see here I'm looking at all, various tools that are running, AI tools running in my SDLC, creating code on the IDE, creating code with agents, review comments, like which tools are doing reviews for me. Maybe I have pockets, some are using LinterB's code review, some are using Copilot or Codos or CodeRabbit, so I can see and manage this across multiple teams. I can look at some advanced uses. Remember, I talked about using guidelines, about being able to be a team player. To be able to do that, people have to write guidelines. So if I'm looking at how is my AI code review or even just AI usage in my company, how is that maturing? One hallmark of being mature is having the guideline files in those repos. People actually bothering to write them, to update them. So we track that. You can see the prevalence of these guideline files in my different repos, and are these getting edited? So if I'm using Claude or using AI code reviews with no guidelines, I'm stuck at this level of value. If someone is bothering to write guidelines and update them, I'm starting to grow. Visibility for that helps me manage and helps me find those pockets of potential to improve the value. And then finally, we talked about measuring and understanding downstream impact. Are we more productive? So things like cycle time, review time. Did I actually shorten the time it takes to get a piece of code merged? Now I can compare, see the blue and the gray bars, for those PRs that got AI code review versus ones that didn't. What was the change? Can you show me that when it's working, it's actually condensing my time and getting us to more productivity through what we call downstream impact metrics, like cycle time, like merge frequency, like the quality, number of bugs. All of these are measurable. And if you can correlate those with the usage of AI code review, you're now proving that it actually helps you. And I'm going to summarize. Code review is a great opportunity for AI for all those reasons I mentioned. Now, obviously, my recommendation is to get started, start using AI code reviews, but maximize the value by focusing on 3 things. 1, get observability on what you're doing. So not just a tool that does things on the PRs. Make sure that you're able to show and prove to yourself, where is it helping me, where is it not yet helping me, and how do I move forward. Look at the downstream impact, find a way to correlate the usage and the depth of usage of this tool, for example, or any tool, but in this case, AI code reviews, with the actual impact. Are we delivering more? Are we delivering better? And look for the ways to automate. One of the really nicest things, that I like about how our customers use our code review, we review about 200,000 PRs a month for our customers with AI. And part of the the automation that we provide is you can write rules saying, if a pull request was reviewed by AI said it's all good, LGTM, and some other parameters exist, you can go ahead and skip the human. You can go ahead and merge the PR. For some cases of the PRs, for some places, AI code reviews are going to be enough. And we have customers automating that, like thousands of PRs a month using that. That is becoming transformative. It's not just I've helped you do some code review. It's now I've helped you skip a human in a crucial step, and for those PRs, run 2, 3, 5x faster. So these are your opportunities. Thank you. Do we have time for a question?
We have room for 1 or 2 questions.
Yes.
I know that I am the last barrier between you and lunch. So.
Yeah, I would like to thank you for the great talk, and I'm curious to learn that. And what is the difference could you make between AI code review and human code review? And as well, which one would you consider that is most reliable? And yeah.
I think, well, it's a tough one. I think AI, like any machine, is not going to be perfect. We know AI has its limitations. It's obviously a great first step. Let's make sure that the first review, AI is much, much faster. So in seconds or, under a minute, you get a review. At the very least, let it catch the basic stuff. Let it be the first net that raises the bar of quality. Now, humans and the way humans review code is very, very, there's a lot of variance. In particular, code that was written by AI, it's very hard to review that code. But in many cases, and we're still a ways from being able to completely rely on machines to do this for us. As I mentioned, there's cultural, not just skills. There's I need someone to blame if things go wrong. I need someone to get up at night because they missed it. I think for a while we will see both happening, maybe with humans as the gate further down. But if that human has 10%, 15% less PRs to review because I was able to automate away the simple ones or the safe ones, that is a huge game changer.
Yeah, maybe not a question, but maybe an anecdote or maybe opinion, but it has to do with the question you shared with us. What kind of value are we getting from, in this case, AI code reviews? Teams has their own beliefs, their own practices. The point is that when it comes to pull requests or code reviews, is the moment where all, as a team members, we all care about the quality we are putting into our product. But it's not only that, it's only a moment to share knowledge.
Yes.
So we can see how other mates analyze things. So if I'm not a main reviewer in my team, but I can learn from other people's says, comments, and what they are their pointers. And sometimes I feel that giving that to the AI, we as a humans lost that opportunity to interact with each other.
Yeah.
But for sure.
I completely agree. And I think, we have customers that use our automation to say, I'm going to pull people to review this PR that are not the experts. And I'm going to randomize this a bit, like automation, but randomize the people that I pull in to force knowledge sharing. Now, think about, AI can be smart enough to say, this is a pull request where I'm not just giving feedback, I'm also thinking this is worthy of pulling in people to see and may participate. Because there's a novel, sometimes it's just a bug fix or a typo or a small thing, not a lot of learning. But AI can be told through guidelines to say, if this is a major thing, a major change or a fundamental piece of code, go call the people to see so they learn. Get some more people in. So you can now think about an AI agent that not just gives you a review for the code, but also orchestrates people coming in.
Well, that's another level, perhaps.
Yeah. And you can use AI to find those opportunities to say, this PR, let's get everyone to see.
Yeah, the point is that when it comes to dealing with complex systems, I never use AI in an automated way. Every pull request that we do is reviewed by us as team members. Sometimes I use AI just to understand what other people is writing and pointing to,
Yeah.
just to see because I know the context in the team. It's aligned with what we are aiming for. The letter that you show us, the context-aware things, but most of the time I ask, okay, help me to understand how this was done, because the goal is this, and it's a bit misleading. I feel more drained when I had to give it to the bot the context, because I had to write it down. Okay, this was the problem that was happening. This was we want to solve, but we want to avoid these pitfalls by doing this. What do you think about how this was implemented? And then, I prefer, yes, and there is the other thing as well. Investing time in PRs is also, because of the shared knowledge and also the quality is a good time to do it, because
there's a reason why 95% of the market uses pull requests for managing the whole way the software changes. I think there's opportunities to change that, but we don't have to lose the learning opportunity, to lose the human control. We can just be smarter around it.
Yes, thank you. And